Okay, welcome to the recap. Going into the morning, I was pretty bearish and my draw was previous day low for a few reasons. So we do have this 4-hour gap, but I wanted to see previous day low because it edged this 1-hour gap right here, which isn't super important, but I just wanted to see this get reswept and fill this 4-hour gap. So here's the 1-hour gap, and then this is also the CE of this weekly gap. So here's a weekly gap. So I just wanted to see a little bit lower first, or possibly rebalance the weekly range more. And because we closed yesterday, we closed below this low, I expected this to get swept, and we hadn't swept it on ES either. And we also left the CE of this weekly gap. But we actually ended up leaving this for the day, but on top of that, we had, so this was a 4-hour rejection block, previous day low. I didn't really expect this to hold. I just, like I said, wanted to see this get reswept, but the daily opens lower into this 4-hour right here. So we had this, right? And I was also pretty bearish because we had rebalanced this 4-hour leg here on ES2. I drew it right from here to here. And London pretty much just traded higher. We didn't trade lower into anything, and we had all these lows here. So at open, we did trade lower and sweep out all of this. Now I still expected previous day low, but I ended up waiting for 10 a.m. So we swept all this, and here's 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. opens here. What I wanted to see is for 10 a.m. to open higher into this 15-minute gap. Right here. And then take a short to previous day low right here. And I kind of just ignored this 4-hour rejection block here, which is also a small 1-hour rejection block. And ES makes this 4-hour rejection block right here and a 4-hour gap. So what I was hoping for is for 10 a.m. to open higher into this and then leave this 4-hour gap as a draw for the hourly candle. So 10 a.m. opens here, and on ES it actually taps into this 4-hour rejection block really nicely, and we started to get a reaction here. So there's, I think there was a 5-minute out of this. Yeah. So we have this 5-minute rejection block out of the 4-hour rejection block, and we leave the 4-hour gap. So for me, it looked like 10 a.m. opened higher. The problem is I was looking at ES too much, because this does look like a good open high into this 4-hour rejection block. And like we did make a really small SMT here, but the problem is that in Q didn't open into anything. There's no 5-minute gaps. The only thing that it really opened into, I guess, is 1800. But for it to really be an open high for the hourly candle, I would have wanted this gap to get hit. But because of ES, I still view this as open high. And we do make a 5-minute rejection block that doesn't get tapped, which this could have been a decent trade, honestly, because we still have the CE of this 4-hour rejection block right here. So even if this does want to hold, we could still come to the CE of this off of this. But what I did is we closed past 10 a.m. and because I was just trading an eval today, all I wanted was just take a small trade to pass the eval to the draw, which for me was previous day low. So I entered on this candle right here because I was like, all right, this 4-hour rejection block, the CE is probably not going to hold because we tapped it here with this 1-minute RB, got a small reaction. That's all it's going to give, and this isn't going to hold, and we're just going to take previous day low because we're so close to it. So we're going to take this in like 2 more candles. So this is what I took on the eval, and I have my stop here. And I just aimed for about a 1-to-1. So I aimed for, I think I aimed for this 1-hour gap here, a little bit below previous day low. But this sneaky 1-hour rejection block was right here, and we actually tapped the CE of this right after I enter and then start coming back up. So my stop is here, and we edged previous day low pretty much, and I was like, all right, right around here is when I moved my stop above 10 a.m. because I was thinking, okay, we're gonna tap 10 a.m. and then take the low, and this looks really good. So I moved my stop, and then I actually added once we hit 10 a.m. right here on this candle, and then we start dumping. I was like, all right, this looks really good, and then we just chop, and I was just sitting in drawdown pretty much the whole entire time, just on this eval, and I moved my stop here, and I get stopped out here. Yeah, so probably dumb idea to move my stop. Probably should have just left it. Just accepted the loss. But, oh well. So, took a loss on that. And after that, I just got off because I didn't care anymore. This just looked terrible. It's pretty much just chop. But, as you can see, 10 a.m. actually did open lower. So, where's 10 a.m.? Okay. This, like, it doesn't trade into anything, and we leave the 15-minute gap, and it actually trades lower and perfectly taps the CE of this 1-hour rejection block, which I really didn't think was going to hold, but it actually did. So I really didn't expect this, but it ends up holding, and I also didn't expect this to hold because we closed past the OTE level, right, on the 15-minute time frame. We did hold it on the 30-minute, but yeah, this tiny rejection block ended up holding, and we did sweep the 9 a.m. low, these lows here, and we did have an SMT with the 9 a.m. low, which I didn't even see. And we did have an SMT with London low, Asia low, so a lot of SMTs that are not in my favor for this. But yeah, pretty much the issue here was just looking at ES too much, because it does look like a pretty decent open high on ES. With this 5-minute rejection block, which actually did get tapped. No, it didn't. It actually got edged. But yeah. So 10 a.m. opens lower, and then we expand from there. Close past 10 a.m. That's that. And we do have these equal highs, so we'll probably take those. We swept the high on ES though, so now there's an SMT. Like, I still think we want this low. This is still my draw. And now we have this SMT, but yeah. I was just wrong about the direction for 10 a.m., which is fine. But anyways, this was pretty... It wasn't that choppy, really. But this move here ended up being the manipulation, which in hindsight, it's like super obvious. We just accumulate all through here, and this is the manipulation here. On ES, it just does nothing. But anyways, that's the trade for the day. Thankfully, I didn't trade the live account. Just tried to pass some evals, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.